The city never really sleeps. But for me, the nights are the loudest. Even sat there silent. It all began one golden afternoon, in the heart of this sprawling metropolis, a city where millions of lives intertwine every day. Yet somehow, we're all strangers to each other. That's how I felt too. Just another face in a sea of people, until the day I saw him. The streets were buzzing with their usual chaos. I was running late, weaving through the crowd, clutching a cafe I had not even wanted. When I felt it, that unexplainable pull, our eyes met across the street, and suddenly the noise around me dulled. He was standing there, tall and unbothered by the madness around him. As if the world moved at his pace, his dark hair fell just slightly over his forehead, and his smile, it wasn't even directed at me, but it felt like it was carved for my soul. I don't know what possessed me, but instead of continuing to wherever I was going, I crossed the street. I didn't have a plan, I just needed to be closer to him. Hey, careful! Someone yelled as I narrowly avoided a cyclist, but I didn't care. My heart was racing in a way it hadn't in years. I reached the other side, but by the time I did, he was gone. I stood there, looking left and right, hoping to catch a glimpse of him. Nothing. It was as if he'd vanished into thin air. That night, I couldn't get him out of my head. You know, that feeling when you're seeing someone so beautiful, so inexplicably perfect, that it feels like it wasn't real. That's how it was with him. I thought maybe I was being ridiculous, getting so worked up over someone I didn't even know, but something about him felt different, like he wasn't just another stranger. They passed, and I convinced myself to let it go, but the city, in its infinite randomness, had another plan. A week later, I was at a bookstore, my usual refuge from the chaos. I was browsing through the poverty section when I heard a voice behind me. Excuse me, is that Romy? I turned around, and it was him. My heart stopped, and for a moment I forgot how to breathe. Yes, I stammered, holding up the book like an idiot. It's one of my favorites. Mine too, he said, with that same easy smile I'd seen the first time. And just like that, we started talking about poverty, about life, about the city. His name was Elias. He had his calm, thoughtful way of speaking, like every word he said had weight, and when he laughed, it wasn't loud, but it was warm, like sunlight breaking through clouds. We ended up walking out of the bookstore together, roaming the streets for hours. He told me about his dreams of becoming a filmmaker, how he loved capturing fleeting moments because, as he put it, life is made of seconds, not years. I told him about my passion for writing, so that I didn't feel like my words were nearly as profound as his. By the time we parted ways, it was dark, and the city lights were glowing around us. He looked at me, hesitating for just a second, and then said, I'd love to see you again. I nodded, trying to suppress the ridiculous grin on my face. Me too, but before I could ask for his number or give him mine, a group of tourists stumbled between us, asking for directions. When I turned back, he was gone, just like the first time. I spent the next few weeks looking for him. I went back to the bookstore, hoping he'd show up again. I wandered the streets we'd walked together, replaying our conversation in my head. I even scoured social media, typing his name into every platform I could think of, but it was like he didn't exist. At night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if he was thinking about me too. I'd imagine him walking through the same streets, searching for me just as I was searching for him. But the city is cruel that way. It brings people together only to tear them apart. I started writing him letters, even thought I know I'd never send them. They were my way of keeping him close, of holding on to the hope that maybe someday fate would bring us together again. Dear Elias, I wrote one night. I don't even know if you remember me, but I remember you. I remember the way your eyes lit up when you talked about your dreams. I remember the way your voice softened when you recited that line from Romy. You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? I remember the way you made me feel like I wasn't just another face in the crowd, like I mattered. I folded the letters and placed in a box with the others, my little shrine to a love that never had a chance to bloom. Months passed, and I stopped looking for him, not because I wanted to, but because I had to. The city doesn't wait for anyone, and the life has a way of pulling you forward, even when your heart is stuck in the past. But some nights, when the city is quiet and the moonlight spills through my window, I think of him. I wonder where he is, what he's doing, if he ever think of me, and in those moments I feel both the ache of losing him and the warmth of having known him, even for just a little while. Maybe that's what love is in a city like this: fleeting, beautiful, and heartbreaking. Thank you for watching our video. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel and write your comments for us.